Hey scrapbookers, this is Katie Scott and I have a blog called Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking at typepad.com, and this is my dozen day. I'm doing it a couple days early. This is for July 2012. So I'm going to show you 12 layouts that I've made in the last, since last time, but probably these are from the last week or so. The first one, and the most awkward to hold up, is a double page layout that I made while I was watching a Shamel video. Chanel is a scrapbooker, and she really talks about something that I describe as improv scrapbooking, and that's not what she calls it, but that's what the concept she's talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So this was based on one of her sketches, and I have a blog post up about it with a link to her video, which I highly recommend that you watch. So this is a double page. I don't usually do a double page layout. This layout is about how my son was helping my daughter up onto this high thing that they could stand on at the beach to watch the sunset. And one of the reasons I made this, and my husband kind of laughed at me after he saw it, because it's all about like, oh Allison, your brother has always loved you so much and he's always been so helpful. And that's true, but the other truth of it is that a lot of times they're not helpful towards each other, and they, especially in the pool, and they're spending a lot of time in the pool this summer, but they just fight and fight and fight. And so I don't want to gloss over that and never acknowledge it, but I also want to highlight, love your brother, love your sister. Those are the only ones you're ever going to get, so appreciate them. And so it's just like a nice little reminder. So in 50 years, if I'm gone and she's wondering if her brother really loves her, she can take a look at this and say, oh, Mom thought he did, so he probably does. It's not rewriting history, but highlighting the positive for sure. So that I think sometimes when you highlight the positive, then actually you focus on that, and what you focus on expands. So let's focus on some positive things and remind them that we really, want you to be friends, and you should be friends. And a lot of times they are friends. So I have to just notice that, and notice when he helps her, when he defends her, when they play, so that when they're, fighting at the other times, we can all remember that they really are friends. This is a page called Frustrate the Dandy Want. And oh my gosh, this dog, he is an aging yellow lab. And he's the sweetest thing that ever lived, except that he's becoming an old man, and he's on a lot of medication now. He is a hungry dog, so he just barks all the time because he thinks if he barks, we'll feed him, and we do. So shame on us, but he, old dog, new tricks. So he gets, it's basically like a 100-year-old person who wants to have a cigarette, and you just say, what's the harm at this point? But this dog is a dog that can't really get up and down stairs anymore, and so we have to help him in and out of the pool. But then once he gets into the pool, he tries to rub his ear against this coping because his ears are always itchy, and our other dog would always like help him out with his ears. It was really disgusting, but he licked his ears. And we always thought, oh, there's something wrong with that dog. He likes to lick ears. And then when that dog died, when Duke died, we realized, oh, he was actually really helping Dandy out. Just like brother and sister, the two dogs really did help each other out. But this page is called Frustrate the Want. And this relates to my improv scrapbooking concept. And frustrating the want is an improv technique where, like, if one of the players in the improv sketch says, I need to get some homework done, I need it to be quiet, and then the next person says, oh, well, that's great. And then they just start playing the drums. And then the next person starts singing opera. It makes for funny. It's called Frustrating the Want. And so this reminded me of Frustrating the Want because my husband is always having to like stick his shoe there to make sure my dog doesn't rub his ears here, because this is the problem with labs. They can, with the flop-eared dogs, if they burst a blood vessel in their ears, it has $800 to fix it. And like I said, he's an old dog, so so we don't want him to, we don't want to have to make any decisions based on a ruptured ear. So we we frustrate the want, and Charlie acts as the dog police whenever Dandy goes in the pool. So that's what that page is about. And I made this page while I was sitting by the pool watching the kids. So I did this outside, so that was fun. And I did this one in the living room, so that was fun. So I'm taking my scrapbooking all over the place. And I swore I was going to be 12 minutes, and I'm totally not. Layout number 3. This one is another sibling page, but this really, so I used, this is number 22 in my die cuts with a view, self-imposed, make 24 layouts from one stack challenge. And I just missed their design team call. I don't really try out for design teams. I probably should, because I would love to get like free scrapbooking stuff. That would be awesome. But I just don't spend a lot of time trying out for design teams. Unless I'm like super love the company, like, or I think I'm just like with Get It Scrapped, I wasn't like totally familiar with them, but I took a look around and I was like, oh, they're totally, I totally, like, at a gut level love this, and I do, and I've been around the Get It Scrapped now for a little bit, and I can tell you my impression was right. If you would totally love it. If you're a scrapbooker, you should definitely try it. There you go. And let me see. Okay, so this page, this is number 3. This is with, some of the items here are from the Die Cuts with a View stack, like these, what do you call them? I'm losing my train of thought because I'm freaking out about the time. These are word bubbles. The word bubbles are from them. And then these brightly colored star embellishments are really old, my mind's eye, they're the Kaleidoscope. But the story behind this page is, number 1, a couple days ago my son told me for about 45 minutes about how much he loves hamburgers. And I happen to have these pictures of him eating hamburgers, and I don't usually bring him to fast food restaurants, but I had brought him to Wendy's a couple months ago with his friend and said they could get whatever they wanted, and they both ordered like these most ginormous hamburgers you've ever seen. Cost $20. They ate the whole thing. He was so happy. So he loves hamburgers, and my daughter is a vegetarian. And so there's this book, Katrina Kennison, I think her name is, something like that. She wrote Mitten Strings from God, or for God. She's a mother in New England, and she writes about like how fast your kids grow up, and she's got 2 boys. Anyways, one of the lines from one of her books, and I don't remember which one, but she said, and one of them is something about like celebrating the ordinary things, but she said raising her 2 boys was like raising a fern and a cactus in the same pot. And so at the very bottom here, I write that because my 2 kids could not be more different. So there's my, So I wrote, somehow I created 2 completely opposite kids. Meet Allison the vegetarian and Mac the hungry carnivore. Seriously, like, the 2 of them could not be more opposite, I swear. Okay, I gotta go, but I'm coming back. So we're how many in? 3 in. There's going to be 12 altogether. So this is Dozen Day, July 2012, part 1. Let's just try to, I'll try to keep it to just maybe part 2 and part 3. But this is what's coming up next, and I will be back. I do.